Hi, Brad Buckner, sharpensbest.com. How are you doing today? Off on another little adventure here in the motel room, shooting some videos. I'm in Denver, off on my way to Yuma, Arizona, then Orlando, Florida, then back, Denver for a couple of days, Reno. Okay. Tom Nunya, that's his title on YouTube. You get to meet a lot of people. This is a little exchange back and forth here. One of the guys writes in, and he says, does not impress me at all. I cut birch. That's birch that you're cutting. I cut bark on birch all the time with my pocket knife. So we kind of send back, says, hey, real quick, since you do this all the time, you know, why don't you just have a little bit of fun? Take your pocket knife, go out, cut some birch wood, things like that. He sends back and says, why don't you send me your knife and I'll sharpen your knife and then send it back to you. So anyway, we have another knife. I'm not going to send you my knife. So what we did is we went out and bought a knife, and it looks just like this right here. And so what we've done, I'm going to take this knife out and do a little review on it. We're going to see how sharp it is, how sharp it's not, how dull it is, and then I'm going to sharpen it a little bit, slice a little more paper. By the way, the Denver magazine, that's the paper we use. It's pretty thin. It's not real substantial. People say we use thin paper because it's easier to cut. No, it's not actually. The thinner the paper, if you take your knife and you push against it and the knife's not sharp, it'll push it out of the way. It might tear it, things like that, but it won't just slice the paper. So let's go ahead and take this knife right here, Mossy oak. Came from Walmart. So we're just off on another little Walmart adventure. Not that I'm promoting Walmart, it's just the easiest place to go and get knives. Quite frankly, that's where a lot of people do buy knives. It's their everyday carry. If they, lose it, things like that, it's no big deal. If it's 440 stainless, it's a relatively good blade. So let's take the little pocket knife here and cut the packaging. I'm going to go ahead and choke up on it a little bit and then just use the tip. Go in there like that. Go right on around. If you notice, I put my arms against my body. You can't slip. That's as far as you can go. You can't slip and cut yourself if you've already prepped your arm against your body. That's as far as it's going. It isn't going any further. Okay, so yeah, I cut towards myself all the time. Have I ever cut myself cutting towards myself? No, I have not. Okay, and that's part of the reason I kind of choked up on it, so it's just the point sticking out there. All right, I got a little bit right here. And so let's go ahead and tear this thing out of there like that. We put that away where it belongs. Got the tip protector on there so that if something happens, it doesn't jab out through the plastic. That's probably a pretty good deal. This is a hunting knife. Okay, it's a fixed blade. It's got about a 4-inch blade. It's got a gut hook on there. How a gut hook works, some people say, what do you do with that? Okay, well, picture an animal, a deer, on its back, legs sticking up in the air. You start back by the pelvis, between the legs, and you can make a small incision there, and then you turn this around, and you take this part of it, and you hook it in the hide, okay? And then you just pull this right up the belly, okay? And that's how, without taking your fingers, going in there like this, and going up the belly from the pelvis. It's called a gut hook. The reason I call it a gut hook is that's what you cut the skin on the belly to dump the guts out of the carcass with, okay? So you got a good, almost a rubberized, it's not a slick handle so that if your hands are cold, it doesn't just slide off there. It's got some thumb grip up here, so if you happen to be wanting to cut like that. And then it does have your finger protector here, so it's harder for you to slip up onto the blade. All right, and the pommel, okay, is exposed here. So maybe you need to chip and break ice, things like that. It does have a lanyard hole here. That's a pretty good deal. The weight of the knife, I'm just guessing to be 1/3 of a pound, 1/2 of a pound, something like that, about 1/8 of an inch thick. I think all in all, it's probably a pretty good knife. So let's see, just hear how it cuts. Okay, that's pretty good. It's pretty quiet, moving it right along out there at the tip and everything. That's not really too bad. Some knives are actually really cheap, and they're not just inexpensive. They don't take long enough to actually sharpen them right. They're not very sharp. So let's go ahead and see. I'm going to slow down here a little bit, and you check it out. That isn't too bad. Okay. On the radius, a lot of people demo knives on the radius because when you get up to about here, it really slices the paper really cool. So if you never go back to the body of the knife, you just use the radius, it actually gives a better presentation. We all do it. Everybody that demos sharpeners does that because we know that's a really sweet spot, okay, to slice the paper. So let's do, also on this Tom Nunya, we're also going to send you the long handle sharpener. Now this is kind of funny because Tom says, we talk about giving him a sharpener and he says, why the F? Only he didn't put F. What I want your sharpener, mine works just fine. So anyway, we're going to send you one. You do what you want to with it. It's the long handle sharpener. So I'm going to actually, I don't know. No, I'm not, because maybe I'll use it. Okay, this is the sharpener that I'm going to use to touch that knife up, and we'll see if we can make it cut better. So here's what we want to do. We want to match the bevel on there, 10, 12, maybe 14 degrees, and I'm going to turn it this way or back this way. I actually go this way and this way, like that, this way. I turn it all kinds of ways. Everything kind of balances on my fingers like this. You can see no big death grip on it. Don't get a hold of it like this. Don't put your finger up here. Don't try to push on it like that. Once you get the bevel matched and you turn it, stop thinking. It's not a thinking deal, just like this. If you're using a stone, you have to think. Your stone is flat. You have the knife on there, you match the bevel. You better not tip it down. You're going to scratch the side of your knife. If you got a $100 knife, you don't want to scratch the finish on it. But you have to think because you got to concentrate on how to keep that knife at the right angle all the way around. Once you get mind set, stop thinking. The body pivots like a machine. So what do we have here? We got a flat spot, flat, flat. So we actually have a 90-degree corner there and a 90-degree corner there. I'm going to hold still, and we're really actually going to let it focus. So you can see the 90-degree corners, okay? 90-degree corner made out of tungsten carbide. You have a really, really hard material, and it's actually quite sharp because it's absolute perfect 90-degree corners. Match the bevel, turn it, just like that, and begin to brush the blade. Right on around, right on out to the tip, just like that. Come back here. You can turn it over and go towards the hilt, towards the handle, out towards the tip, just like this. Right on out that way. If you want to work on just the tip, set it down and work on the tip of the knife, just like that. Out here like this. Okay, now let's touch it really light. Flip the knife every pass, 10, 12 degrees on the bevel. Turn it this way, turn it this way. I'm going to hold it at right angle, 90 degrees to the blade, and finish this off. Just let it set on there. Just touch it as light as you can. There is some noise. That could be considered a tune-up as well as sharpening. If you got a deer, elk, antelope, moose, bear, whatever it is down and you're going to skin it, gut it, and things like that, don't use the knife more than 2 or 3 minutes before you spend 20, 30 seconds tuning it up. That way the whole process from start to finish on the animal is all done with a really sharp knife. No stone steels, landscapes, crock sticks, diamond impregnated tools, no ceramics, none of that stuff. One of these in your pocket, one of these in your pocket. Okay, the little poker chip size like that, and then the biggest one, which is called the Sharpens Spark. That's the one with the fire starter and the handle. Okay, my hand's 4.5 inches wide, so that's probably 5.5, a little less than 5.5 inches. Okay, a little bit bigger if it's cold outside. Maybe you got fish guts, fat tallow on your fingers, your hands. Maybe it's cold, they're not working quite right. You want the bigger one. If your hands are cold, you can't hang on to the little one. It's not going to happen. Okay, if your hands are clean, warm, and dry, that works really good. So let's see now where we're at on as far as that's fun. Okay, even down here on the body, I don't have to go to the radius where it's easier to cut. I can stay down on the body of the knife. Oop, hit the table. And just slide it right through there like this. That's sharp. A lot of people say I can make my knife sharper. Well, you probably can. But if you have a knife that actually physically works 100% the way you need it to, it is as sharp as you need it. Why do you need it 15% more sharper? All you're probably going to do is you're going to make that blade so thin at the cutting edge that you'll probably take the edge off too easy. You can nick the blade, roll the edge, things like that. So quite frankly, there is a point where you don't need it sharper. If you're in a contest and you need to have judges, 6, 7, 8 judges, whatever it is, judge to see whose knife's the sharpest. That's a whole nother game. A pocketable, lightweight, inexpensive, take it with you sharpener like this versus a stone, steel, Lansky, crock stick, diamond impregnated tools, a process, 3 different, you got your coarse, your medium, and your fine, and all that stuff. That's fine if you're sitting around home. I'll be absolutely honest with you, very seldom do I use my knife right at home. I'm out somewhere doing things. It's, boxes, paper, tape, things like that. It's wood, cutting actual things that in your everyday life. So let's take a look here again just quickly. That's actually, get away from my finger. That's pretty sharp. Now you can come out to the radius like this and just tease it right along like that. This is Brad. I'm going to send this knife out. Oh, you know what? I almost forgot. We're going to take the sharpener. Now you see how sharp it is? This just makes my skin crawl. Ready? Jesus, that's bad. This is bad. Okay, well, it has a burr on here that's sharper than the blade. There's no question about that. Okay, before I would not have done that to my arm. There's no question. Okay. All right, so here's what we're gonna do. Tom, Nunya, all right, there's where it's gonna get addressed. This is gonna get sent to you. I'm gonna put it in this bubble wrap type stuff. Gonna put it in the sheath. Well, let's have some fun. Take the knife. I know it's kind of hard, but I'll recognize my signature. Hoo-hoo, it won't cut it. Nope, sorry, can't do that. So let's see, right about in here. Now off camera, I'm going to do just the tiniest little bit of a thing to this handle. And let's see if you can sharpen this knife. Do a good job. This is too funny. And put it back in a good sharp position and slice some paper with it. Do some videos at your house and then send it back to me. This is Brad, sharpensbest.com. You take care and have a good day.
See you, Tom.
Man, there ain't nothing left of that edge. I could actually see pieces coming off on the table.